Good morning. Gay Beauregard here with the Alpine Church of Spiritual Living. I want to begin by reading the thought for the week. As we weave our way through this month with the theme of self-mastery, our topic this week is the power of faith. There is an absolute power in faith. The important thing to decipher is how to know just what we have faith in. It has been said that fear is nothing more than the negative use of faith misplaced. Science of mind teaches that thoughts become things. Thoughts are things. When we fear something will happen, that thought and subsequent emotion sends out a vibratory beacon of energy out into the ethers that then responds and returns back to us. Ernest Holmes said, if we are to have an active faith, the faith of God, instead of merely a faith in God, our thought must be centered in universal mind. Such a faith does not spring full-orbed into being, but grows by knowledge and experience. What strikes me about that quote are two things: faith of God, not in God, and that this faith comes about by knowledge and experience. Having the faith of God places us in the union with the divine within each of us. Do you think for 1 minute that God fears anything? Of course not, for God knows there is nothing to fear, for nothing is separate and apart from its all-encompassing love, light, and joy. To have this kind of faith takes commitment to our spiritual growth, for as Don Miguel Ruiz wrote in the Four Agreements, most of us were domesticated as children, meaning we were trained to please others and to ignore our inner promptings. Committing to know ourselves as God knows us takes courage, faith, and commitment. Say with me, I am committed to knowing myself as God knows me. I am growing in my spiritual muscles, hour by hour, day by day. As I continually release negative habits and beliefs that no longer serve me, I have the faith of God. And it is so. Let's go ahead then and get ourselves centered into this presence, into this power of this being. Let's close our eyes, open up our awareness, open our heart to that infilling love that is ever within us. Take a deep breath and just let everything go. Allow this peace to envelop you. This power to lift you. Become united, become one with this beautiful energy of the divine. It is always working its perfect plan. And so we merely trust. We merely let go and know that we are being divinely led at every moment. And so there will be coming forth a message in the next few moments that each of us will have ears to hear. I'm going to give you just a moment of silence and quiet to go within and ask and be receptive to what is the message for my ears, for my heart, for my knowing in the next coming minutes. Being filled with this beautiful presence of the divine. I am so very grateful. I do say thank you, Mother, Father, God, for this life that I am living, for this life that I am allowed to demonstrate and be of service to the divine within me. I am ever so grateful. So knowing that this is the truth, I allow it to be revealed in perfect order and in perfect timing. Letting it go, knowing it is so. Together we say, and it is so. Amen. Well, as I read in the thought for the week, the topic for today is the power of faith. If you look up the word faith in the dictionary, you will find these following synonyms: confidence, trust, reliance, assurance, conviction, belief, loyalty, and devotion. Those all sound wonderful. They all sound very positive. They sound like something we want to have, right? That we want to experience. And yet, as we are the spiritual essence and energy living on this earth plane, we get the opportunity to experience contrast, to experience the gambit of the light and the dark, and all of the different choices that we have to look at life. And we can look at it in a positive way with all of those wonderful synonyms for faith, or we can look at it in a negative way and turn that faith of confidence into a faith of fear. We have the choice as to what are we going to choose, fear, or are we going to choose faith in the love, in the joy, in the peace? It's all open to us for the choosing. I mentioned a couple weeks ago that I had attended several years ago now a retreat in Boerne, Texas with Walter Starkey. And I think I read to you a little poem in a book that we got at that session. But what struck me from that, and I still continue to listen to this, is the musician that was there for that retreat was Lorna Bright. I had never heard of her before. She lived, I think she still lives, out in the Palm Desert area somewhere. And she was a beautiful musician that had some wonderful songs, a lot of them very simple, a little chants. And then she had a CD available, which I got, and I highly recommend it. It's called Being. She may have more than that now. In fact, I know she has become a minister since that time till now. But one of the songs that she sang and that I sing a lot reminds me of this whole avenue of the fact that we have choices to make. And it goes like this. It's very simple. The choices that we make are the way that we create the life that we experience day by day. The choices that we make are the way that we create the life that we experience day by day. And then I have another musician that I just love, Marcy Baruch, has a song. In one of her lyrics, it says, "In every tiny choice, our fate." And you see, for the most part, our choices that we are making many of them are unconscious. We are not aware of what it is that we're really choosing. We go into this default of being unconscious, of getting into habits, of doing things the way we've always done them, and we react then many times in this fear that is not even really a conscious choice. So what Science of Mind teaches is that we want to become aware of our beliefs, aware of our thinking. Because if we cannot be aware of what we're thinking and what we're choosing, there is no way that we can change it. And that is the iconic saying that Ernest Holmes, of course, gave us in Science of Mind is, change your thinking, change your life. And unless you can become aware of what it is you're thinking, because that, as I said, thoughts are things. They will become evident in your life. But you've got to become aware of them. So I think, again, this is something I probably teach every week, that the Science of Mind, what it is based on, and I believe most religions are based on this, is that there is one power, one presence, and it is God. It is good. It is love. It is peace. It is eternal. There is one power. Yes, we live on this earth plane. We have the experience of contrast, of the good and the bad and so forth, but it's not the energy of something separate. That's our choice to be made. There is one power, and that power is love. That power cannot compromise itself by having a separate power of evil. There appears and there are experiences of evil in the world. But there is not a separate power. We cannot hang our hat on the fact that the devil made me do it. Nope. Nope. No devil. No separate power. Sorry, you can't get out of it that easy. So what we teach here is that we go within and we know that this one power and this one presence is what we are. There is only good, there's only love, there is only joy, there is only peace. That is in reality. And second step of treatment, that is what I am. I am that love. I am that peace. I am that joy. I am that understanding, that intelligence, that wisdom. I am that. I am unified. I am one with that. That's what I am. And then when I know that, I can have my faith, I can have my trust that I can step out into the unknown. Do you remember the movie character Indiana Jones? In Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, he was getting close to the Holy Grail, but there was a big chasm to cross in his way. So Indiana is guided to believe that if he'll just step out, a bridge will appear. But all he can see is a deep cavern. Should he fall into it, he would surely die. So he must trust that if he steps out, he'll be supported. He knows that his dream, finding the Holy Grail, which is a great symbol for our life of passion, requires a literal leap of faith. He hears his father's voice in his mind saying, "You must believe, son." He steps out into the void, and the bridge does appear. As he steps the next step, more of the bridge appears. Step by step, his faith allows him to walk to the other side. And as the camera pans back, we see that the bridge was there all along. But the color and formation of the rocks created an optical illusion so that neither he nor the watcher could see the bridge. And of course, on the other side was the Holy Grail. That's what faith is. It's stepping out without actually knowing a visual confirmation. It's an inner knowing. It's an inner faith that as I do this thing, I will be supported. When I hear the still small voice within, very important that we become friends with that we know that language, that it speaks to us, guiding us, directing us at all times. We have to learn to listen with our hearts, to separate out all of the commotion that is going on around us. Oh my gosh, how much commotion is going on around us today in this society. What a benefit it is to have this time to be able to go within, to quiet all of the outside exterior things and to go within. I really love the quote that I put from Ernest Holmes in the Thought for the Week. If we are to have an active faith, the faith of God, instead of merely a faith in God, our thought must be centered in universal mind. There is one mind, and I am using it. You are using it. There is only one mind. In Living the Science of Mind, Ernest Holmes said, "What a load we shall get off our minds when we learn that there is one mind that carries every load. It is not this what Jesus meant when he said, 'My yoke is easy and my burden is light'?" I'll give you another episode of what happened to me this week with my 2-year-old granddaughter, as it relates here. We were going out of the house into the backyard. Now, they live on a slope, so you go out the back door, but then you have to descend a fairly steep set of stairs to get down to the backyard. And so we've got this routine. She holds onto the edge, with one hand. I hold her hand on the other, and we walk together down these stairs. Well, this week, one of us had a little misstep. I don't know if it was me or her, but I felt a little, misstep happening, and I just immediately just never even thought about it. It just came out. I just said, "Jesus." And of course, this little 2-year-old immediately said, "Jesus," in her little tiny voice. And of course, we recovered our footing. However, we had lost it for a second. And I said to her, I said, now that's a really good lesson. Whenever you feel that you're slipping or you have some sort of trouble that you're in, it's always a good idea to evoke the name Jesus. And sure enough, it will help you through. I mean, I have done this, literally. I mean, that's what I did that day, because I don't think about it. When something happens, like something in traffic, I see a car or do something, I say, "Jesus." And it just brings me back to knowing and invoking. I really believe that power and that energy comes forth. So remember that. Think about that this energy of Jesus, that example, that great master teacher that came to teach us that we are love, that if we become one with the Father, then all the kingdom is here for us, that all we have to do is center ourselves first in it. So our faith grows as we develop it, as we use it, as we step out onto that unseen bridge of life, when we listen to our inner voice. But it takes knowing our oneness. It takes knowing that I am that higher self, that it never can leave me, that it can never desert me, that it will be with me eternally, and that I believe we are here on this earth plane to be used by it, to be of service of it, to relinquish this lower self, this egoic self, and allow our greater self to step forward. I wanted to share with you an interesting riddle. This is about the Bible. It's entitled "The Center of the Bible." What is the shortest chapter in the Bible? The answer is Psalms 117. What is the longest chapter in the Bible? The answer is Psalms 19. Which chapter is in the center of the Bible? Answer, Psalms 118. Fact: there are 594 chapters before Psalms 118. There are 594 chapters after Psalms 118. Add these numbers up and you get 1,188. What is the center verse in the Bible? Psalms 118, verse 8. Does this verse say something significant about God's perfect will for our lives? The next time someone says they would like to find God's perfect will for their lives and that they want to be in the center of will, just send them to the center of His Word. Psalms 118, verse 8. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. That's the verse. It is better to trust in the Lord than put confidence in man. And we know in our science of mind teaching, in our metaphysical teaching, the word Lord represents law. When I put my trust in law, there is an infallible law, principle that is running this universe. And when we put our trust in it versus man, versus the transient things that come and go in life, that's when we can have the confidence. That's what we can have the faith in. Remember, Jesus said, look to the lilies of the field. They neither toil nor spin. There is something running this universe. If we can just get ourselves in alignment with it, then our life will flow in the direction that it has for us. Thy will be done. Thy will be done, which is my will. It is one and the same. Flex your spiritual muscles this coming week. Get to know them better. Prove them a little bit deeper. Allow yourself to trust in what you cannot see, but definitely from what you can feel in your heart. Listen to that still small voice and step out into the unknown. Have the faith of God this coming week and have a grand and glorious one. Many, many blessings. Namaste. I love you.